beloved child of the light, before we begin. If you've been seeing 444, know that heaven is confirming divine protection around you. Your presence here is not random, it's appointed. If this message stirs your soul, comment, "I receive this fire," 444 below. And if you want these messages to reach others like you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. You are not alone anymore. Now, breathe deeply and listen. I am Archangel Michael, and I've been with you since the bloodline was first marked. You may feel like you were cursed, born into chaos, heartbreak, cycles that repeated without end. But I'm here to reveal what no one ever told you. You weren't cursed. You were chosen to end the curse. What others passed down as trauma, you are carrying as fuel. And though it felt like abandonment, like spiritual warfare from birth, you were actually being awakened earlier than others, because your assignment required it. The pain you inherited is not a punishment. It is a portal. Through you, ancient chains are breaking. Have you noticed how you're different from your family? How your questions shook the silence? How your presence alone brought up buried emotions? That was never a coincidence. You are the purifier of your bloodline, the firebringer, the one who agreed to feel it all so others could be free. The emotional storms, the childhood battles, the invisible weight, none of it was random. You absorbed it so it could finally be transformed. It wasn't because you were weak. It was because your soul had the capacity to carry what others denied. That's why they tried to dim you, why they misunderstood you, why you never felt fully at home, even in the place you were born. You were not meant to fit in. You were sent to clear the room. Some call it generational trauma. Some call it karma. But I call it your sacred assignment. You are not the wound. You are the weapon of healing forged from it. And now, the fire in your veins is starting to rise. Child of sacred lineage, you felt things long before anyone explained them. You sensed the tension in a room before words were spoken. You carried shame that was never yours. Why? Because you weren't just born into a family. You were born into a frequency, one that needed divine interference. And that interference was you. Many of your ancestors didn't have the tools to face what you now confront. They silenced pain. They buried secrets. They normalized dysfunction. And unknowingly, they passed it all down to you, not out of malice, but out of survival. They didn't know how to heal, but your soul did. You were encoded with remembrance. You were sent in with the fire of revelation. You were never just a member of a bloodline. You were the reset. But with that role comes a sacred tension. Because before you heal it, you must feel it. That's why you cried without reason. Why your nervous system felt like it was always under attack. Why you were the first to question, to rebel, to say, "No more." You weren't dramatic. You were decoding. Every suppressed emotion you inherited, it left energetic residue. And your spirit, highly attuned, picked up every trace. That anxiety, it wasn't always yours. That rage, echoes from those who had no voice. That guilt, passed down from hands that never forgave themselves. But now, the cycle meets its end. Because what has been repeated for generations cannot survive in you. You are interrupting it. With your truth, with your tears, with your transformation. It's no small task. That's why the attacks have been relentless. The enemy knew your light would expose generations of darkness. The shadows knew your freedom would free more than just yourself. You felt alone, but the heavens never left. I've walked beside you through every family gathering that drained your soul. I've placed my sword in rooms where no one knew your worth. I've whispered truth when the lies became tradition. And now, I blow divine wind on the fire already rising in you. You were not only born of blood, you were born of light. And though your earthly lineage shaped your early pain, your soul lineage is what fuels your transformation. It is time now to remember where you truly come from. Yes, the wounds are real. The patterns were heavy. The dysfunction was loud. But beneath all of that lies something ancient, something sacred, that has waited for you to return, your divine inheritance. I'm not just speaking of gifts, talents, or callings. I'm speaking of a memory written in your very bones, a knowing that predates your family name. You've come through a human line, yes, but your soul was forged in the stars. And while your family may have handed you burdens, your soul family equipped you with codes, truths, protections, clarity that are now activating. That's why the world feels different now. Why things that once confused you are making perfect sense. Why you're dreaming more, feeling more, sensing more. Because you are no longer operating solely in the material. You've begun to tune back into your original assignment. And that assignment was never to stay tangled in generational cycles. It was to burn through them so others could find their way out. You, beloved, are a soul key. You don't just survive darkness, you decode it. You don't just notice pain, you transform it. You don't just speak truth, you carry the frequency of it. And now, you're being reconnected, not to the dysfunction, but to the divine. Your angels are drawing near. Your ancestors who chose light are stepping forward. Your lineage is splitting, heaviness to the left, holiness to the right. You are choosing light. You are anchoring heaven on earth. You are reclaiming not just your life, but the lives of those who came before you and those yet to come. When you heal, they heal. When you speak, they are released. When you rise, they remember. This is the sacred work. Not loud, not showy, but thunderous in the spirit realm. Your name is known in places you've yet to remember, and your awakening is being watched with reverence. Child of fire and inheritance, can you feel it now? The soft stirring in your chest, the heat in your palms, the moments where time slows and everything suddenly feels connected. That's not imagination. That's activation. You are no longer just recovering from pain. You are stepping into purpose. What once felt like a curse, you now see was a calling. What once felt random, you now recognize as divine design. That heaviness you carried since childhood, it was never yours to hold forever. It was placed there to be transmuted by you. Because you are a sacred passage. Not a container of pain, but a purifier of it. Not a prisoner of lineage, but a liberator of it. You are a bridge between what was and what can be. The blood that runs through your veins carries both memory and mission. But it is your light, your spiritual DNA, that decides what lives on through you. You get to say, "It ends with me." You get to declare, "Only love flows forward." This is not just healing. This is divine filtration. Through your choices, a new blueprint is formed. And the heavens are watching. Every time you choose to respond instead of react, light codes activate. Every time you breathe through a trigger, ancestral patterns shift. Every time you show compassion to yourself, you rewrite what love looks like for future generations. That is the power you carry. That is the inheritance they didn't know how to give you, but your soul remembered anyway. And I, Michael, am with you through all of it. My sword cuts cords of old bondage. My light surrounds your home, your lineage, your becoming. I walk through the timeline with you, clearing as you claim, blessing as you believe. You are not doing this for applause. You are doing it because your soul said yes long before your body was born. And now that yes is echoing louder. Now that yes is moving mountains in the unseen. Now that yes is being heard across realms. You are no longer the wounded one. You are the activated one. And nothing born of fear can follow you where you are headed. Now that your inner fire has awakened, the world around you begins to shift. What once felt like coincidence now becomes confirmation. People respond to your energy without understanding why. Some draw near, others recoil, but all feel it. That's the power of activated presence. You've become a walking frequency, not just someone who speaks light, but someone who is light. And light exposes. It softens. It burns away illusion. That's why you've noticed strange behaviors. Friends acting distant. Loved ones getting triggered. Opportunities suddenly disappearing. It's not rejection, it's realignment. Your spirit is no longer compatible with what once tolerated your silence. This isn't punishment. It's preparation. Because where you're headed, only truth can walk with you. You are not being isolated. You are being insulated, protected, fortified. Some say, you've changed. And they're right. You've become more of who you truly are. You're not shrinking anymore to fit ancestral molds. You're not biting your tongue to protect fragile egos. You're not ignoring your intuition to maintain surface peace. That peace was always false. True peace is rooted in spiritual integrity. And now, you walk with it. Your voice carries a vibration. Your eyes hold memory. Your hands transmit healing. You are not like the others, and that is your power, not your problem. Do not water yourself down to comfort those still sleeping. You were not created to blend in. You were sent to break patterns. That means walking alone sometimes. That means being misunderstood. But that also means you're finally in alignment. You are not here to be liked by the many. You are here to awaken the few who are ready. You are the flame they denied in themselves, the mirror they tried to avoid, the invitation they didn't know they were waiting for. And I, Michael, stand behind you now stronger than ever. Every time you take a step in truth, I strike down deception. Every time you choose the high road, I build a bridge beneath you. Every time you stand your ground, I surround your field with fire. This is what happens when a chosen one remembers their assignment. The energy shifts. The air changes. Heaven draws near. You've crossed a threshold now. This is no longer about healing for healing's sake. This is about purpose. You didn't come just to feel better. You came to become a vessel for divine order. And that requires responsibility. Your light is no longer dormant. Your frequency has impact. Your choices ripple through timelines. So what will you do with it? This is the question every awakened soul must face. It is not enough to rise. You must now lead. It is not enough to break the curse. You must now bless the future. It is not enough to remember. You must now embody. And I know that can feel heavy. But hear me. You were never meant to carry this alone. Heaven is not watching you. It's moving through you. The moment you said yes to your mission, even if whispered in a moment of pain, an army was assigned to your name. I was assigned to your name. And I have never left. Even when you doubted. Even when you hid. Even when you begged to forget everything you knew. Still I stood guard. Because your yes carried weight in the realms. And now, beloved, the time has come to walk boldly. Not perfectly. Not flawlessly. But truthfully. You don't need to wait for more signs. You don't need to ask for more permission. You are the sign. You are the permission. The energy around you has already shifted. Doors are opening. Allies are arriving. Resources are aligning. But the key is your willingness. Will you walk forward when the path looks unclear? Will you trust your knowing when logic screams otherwise? Will you protect your light even when the world tries to sell you shadow? These are the choices that shape your legacy. Because you are no longer walking just for you. You are walking for those before you who never could. And those after you who silently wait for the frequency only you carry. This is what it means to carry ancestral fire. Not just to survive the flame, but to become the torch. Now you stand not as a seeker, but as a transmitter. You are no longer wandering in search of truth. You are walking as one who remembers. This is a sacred turning point. The energies of your past no longer define you. The voices of doubt no longer rule you. The stories of pain no longer hold power over you. You are rewriting the narrative with every breath you take in awareness. Child of divine fire, this is what few ever reach. To be fully awake and yet still open. To feel the weight and still rise. to carry the codes and still choose compassion. This is mastery in motion. And you, beloved, have entered that field. But this isn't about being above anyone. This is about becoming a mirror, a living, breathing signal to those still sleeping. You carry a frequency now, and that frequency draws in souls silently praying for direction. They won't always say it aloud, but they'll feel it. They'll feel seen, safe, remembered. You are a walking prayer being answered, and as such, your presence is no longer neutral. It stirs, it activates, it awakens. This is why you've been called to deeper integrity. Why things you once tolerated now feel unbearable. Why surface relationships fall away so quickly. The old timeline cannot hold the voltage of who you've become. You are not cursed, you are charged. You were never meant to stay hidden in the background. You are the pulse of divine restoration. And with each decision, that pulse grows stronger. I, Michael, go before you. I soften the ground your feet will touch. I cut through the illusions attempting to delay you. I release heavenly codes into every word you speak in truth. You are not an echo. You are the original sound breaking through silence. So walk as one who knows the cost of awakening, but chooses it anyway. Because now, you carry more than your story. You carry a map. Beloved, your path is no longer about survival. It's about stewardship. You now carry a light that must be protected, not just for you, but for others. Because without even trying, you've become a guide. Not by title, not by force, but by frequency. You don't need a platform to lead. Your energy does it for you. Your integrity clears paths in silence. Your presence plants seeds without speaking a word. This is what it means to be chosen. Not chosen to dominate, but chosen to demonstrate how to rise, how to forgive, how to love fiercely without losing yourself. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more examples. And you are becoming one. You are the one your ancestors whispered about, the one your lineage hoped would come, the one who doesn't just end cycles, but redefines what is possible. This is why the road has felt heavy, because the weight you carry isn't just yours. But you were never meant to carry it alone. You've been assigned angelic assistance. You've been surrounded by unseen allies. You've been infused with soul memory to recall exactly what to do when the time comes. And the time is now. You are ready to activate others, not through preaching, but through presence. Some will find you and feel safer. Some will look in your eyes and remember themselves. Some will feel your calm and be reminded that peace is not a fantasy, but a frequency. You are no longer just breaking curses. You are building blueprints. What you model becomes a map. What you heal becomes a highway. What you embody becomes an invitation. And I, Michael, bless every step forward. The battles you fought in private are bearing fruit in public. The tears you cried in silence are now watering the future. The shadows you faced alone now run from the light you carry. This is sacred leadership, and it was always meant for you. You are no longer just carrying ancestral fire. You are now radiating it. The transformation is complete. The choice has been made. You walk not as the wounded, but as the one who walks others home. Beloved, do you realize what you've become? You are a keeper of remembrance, a guardian of sacred lineage, a restorer of what was lost beneath generations of silence. And now heaven watches your every move not with pressure, but with pride. You didn't give in when darkness clawed at your soul. You didn't shrink when loneliness tried to suffocate your hope. You didn't abandon your essence, even when the world didn't understand it. That strength, it echoes across realms. And I, Michael, call all forces of light to stand at your side. Because your assignment is shifting again, from breaking to building, from healing to guiding, from remembering to awakening others. This is legacy. You are a walking altar. Your life itself has become a prayer, not a desperate plea, but a living declaration. Light lives here. Love reigns here. Truth walks here. And truth will test you. But it will also reward you with divine clarity. It will purify what cannot follow into your next chapter. You've been called to elevate spaces, to cleanse rooms just by being in them, to speak without fear, to correct energies without force, to love with discernment, not dependency. This is mastery in human form. And the world is not ready for what you carry. But the world needs it anyway. You are no longer asking for a seat at the table. You are building the table, carving it in light, anchoring it in truth, filling it with those who remember. Your name is whispered by angels. Your presence is known in heaven. And the fire you carry has now become a torch for others to follow. Beloved flame bearer, this is your moment of sealing. Not a conclusion, but a coronation. You are not cursed. You were never broken. You were forged. Forged in silence. Forged in rejection. Forged in fire no one else could survive. And because of that, you rise now, undeniable, unshakable, unstoppable. You were never meant to walk the easy path. You were meant to blaze a new one. And now, your footsteps echo through realms as a reminder. The curse ended here. The fire lives on. I, Michael, speak this truth into your field. No weapon formed against you will stand. No voice speaking against your light will prosper. No shadow shall cling to the purity of your flame. You walk now as a keeper of codes, a deliverer of divine disruption, a midwife to the birth of a new lineage. Do not hide. Do not wait. Do not underestimate the light within your chest. You are heaven's answer to your ancestral cry. And now the earth shall feel your presence. Walk with conviction. Move with mercy. Speak with sacred fire. The right ones will feel it. The lost ones will find it. The ready ones will remember. And for those still doubting, let your peace be your proof. Let your freedom be your legacy. Now, before you close this sacred message, pause. If this fire resonated in your bones, declare it. I seal this lineage in light. 999. Let the realm hear your yes. And if your spirit whispered, this was for me, then beloved, I ask you, subscribe, so this divine current continues flowing through your days. Comment, because your voice carries light others need to see. Like and share, so that this ancestral activation reaches those still trapped in shadows. You are not alone. You were never forgotten. You are the prophecy fulfilled, the one your bloodline has been praying for. Walk now, not in fear, but in fire.